What is up everyone? Today we talk about the workers, the production and the trading, and for that I prepared a file so you know everything in detail about the different routes you have for the trading. You have absolutely everything in that file, so just by filtering the things here you will know exactly what are the best routes if you want to have more copper, what are the best ones to have more production materials and stuff like that. So stay until the end guys, a lot of information in that video. But right before getting into the content, I have to tell you something. The developers decided to freeze the content creator program, so basically you can't support or receive coupons anymore for an unlimited period of time. They are working on their policy and I don't know exactly when it will be available again. So I apologize for that inconvenience. We will need to wait if I want to receive more coupons and send them to you so you can receive again some free rewards in game. Okay, so that said, let's get into the game. First of all, there is something very important that I want to talk about. I want to talk about the estate very quick, alright? Because you need to level up that as fast as you can early so you get more things over time. First, you need to click on the tavern here. When you reach the level 5, you can hire 5 workers at once, but you are starting to get some purple workers in the tavern, which is the highest rarity we currently have in the game for the workers, alright? So you need to reach the estate level 28 to reach the level 5 on the tavern, and for that you need some building materials. There are many ways to acquire some, but the best ways are basically, if I open the map here, Beyond the Wall Expedition, if I enter the dungeon, you go in the shop, and here you can purchase 3 times that pack per week. For, in exchange of a few requisition tokens, you have a 30 per week through that shop here, so do that, you will progress faster. Then something else, if I open the shop, you have the free exchange shop here for the regional currencies, and you will find the same pack here 3 times per currency for the North, the Rich and the Stormlands, and you can basically get an extra 30, so 90 in total through that shop every week. So purchase them, you are progressing a lot your estate with that. Then if you go in the special shop here, sometimes you can find some in exchange of some golden dragon. This is not a lot, but you are getting 30 as well inside. And sometimes it's coming daily. I don't really know what is the rate for that to appear, but you have that regularly in the shop, so check the special shop, you will progress your account faster with that. Then of course you have other ways to acquire some by completing some quests and stuff like that, so do everything you can in the game, you will acquire some over time. By the way, by leveling up your estate, you are also leveling up your Mano Management Office so you can hire more workers. 31 when it is maxed out here, level 20, you have more slot for the production, for the trading, and you have higher chances to proc better rewards. When you go to the tavern to hire workers, you can see that I have some purples now because this is exactly what I explained to you earlier, and they have all a different icon here. This one has more stamina, but he doesn't have any bonuses for the artifact expedition, the trading or the production, so this is clearly not the best to take. You have this one, the trading specialist. The higher the rarity, the higher the numbers here, by the way. So if you can hire a purple here, it is going to be, of course, better. Everything works the same for the different abilities here. With the artifact expedition ability, the higher you have, the more the rate you will have to proc better rewards at the end. The same for the trading, the same for the production. You have that icon here, you have a better efficiency on the production with that specialist here. Some will have absolutely nothing, so these are the worst ones to hire. And if I recruit again, you can do that 1 time for free daily. Unfortunately, I found none here, so I'm gonna do that. You need to spend your building materials after that if you want to continue recruiting again. It costs 10 for the first time, then 15, 20, and after that you will need to spend your golden dragon. 10, 15, 20, 10, 20, and 30, if I'm not mistaken. So let's redo that. And here, this is the icon you have for the expedition specialist. So you have better luck on the expeditions when you are using that worker. Outside of the abilities here, the main thing I'm looking at is the production expected here. Very important, I'm going to talk about that right after, alright? So first of all, let's get into that interface here. You have your expeditions. You have 2 expeditions. Normally, you unlock the 3rd one by purchasing the monthly subscription. Basically, this is exactly the equivalent of the others, but you can send 3 expeditions at once. This is better to maximize your rewards at the end. So basically, I recommend to hire 9, if you have the bonus expedition, 9 workers with the trading, the expedition ability. So you will have a better chance to obtain a better reward in that content, alright? You don't need more than that. They will have normally enough stamina to redo the expeditions again and again. If I go to manage workers, you find the list of all my workers. As you can see, I have 9 of these because, as I explained to you earlier, I don't care about having more than that. I can do my 3 expeditions with the 3 purple all the time. Then I have a few big guys here, just because of the production materials here. They are very interesting. You have the sheepskins, you have the leather, you have the bird meat, and here you have some material to craft some jewels. So this is very important to me. Then I have a few to produce some materials here. I have different things that I'm going to explain to you in a moment. Everything to know, everything you need to take here for your potions, for your get some copper through the trading and stuff like that. So these are the workers I have, 32 in total, because if I go in the shop, I purchased 1 pack here. In the support convenience tab, you have that pack here for 100 iron bank marks, and you can basically get 1 more slot for the workers. It is absolutely not necessary, alright? So just do that if you want to have 1 more slot, if you want to be a bit more optimal with the production and the trading. And you have another pack here to extend that slot by 2. So do whatever you want. In my case, I'm not purchasing that. So now it's time to talk about the production here. So there are multiple things I want to produce on my account. The first being the crafting materials for the forge here with the iron ore, and the silver ore and the gold ore for the jewels. Very important to focus on that. So I have the 3 workers that can produce some, and generally when they are available, I am spending some copper. You need to spend a bit of copper, but you are getting a lot of materials at the end. So it's something very important to know about. Here you have different rarities on the materials you can produce, and you have a range for the number you will produce on your after the production, alright? You are not guaranteed to get all the time the rewards that are written here. Basically, you have some rates to proc a blue one, a green one, or a purple one, okay? So it depends on the production ability. The higher you have, the more the rates you will have to obtain a rare material here, okay? Don't expect to have that all the time. I don't know if I have some materials. No, I need 24 if I want to skip that, so unfortunately I can't show that to you. Let's check with this one. Maybe I have enough golden dragons. So I'll deploy to this one. These are the materials I expect to have at the end. But if I complete that now, this is what I am getting, and you see that I am not getting any green, and I got something in the range written here, alright? So this is basically how it works. The higher the production ability, the more the rates you will have to obtain some rarer material here. So now, before getting any further in that content, let me open something else. I want to go to the workshop because there is that potion that is absolutely a must-have in the game for any content, especially the worm walks and the Beyond the Wall expedition, and it can help as well if you're struggling on the Kraken for the rankings and stuff like that. You need a ton of crafting materials if you want to craft that. I think I am hiding everything, so let me push myself to the left. Like that. So you can see that you need 1 color of 4 different potions. So if I go back in game, you have the potions here. You need some of these, the cilantro, you need some honey, you need some wood mushroom. I have a lot, okay? And it requires a lot of copper as well. You need the blue one. In that case, you need some cornelian cherry, you need some squash, and you need some chickpea. For the yellow one, you will need the rock mushroom again, raspberries, and you need some jelly flower. And finally, for the orange, you need some cotton grass, mustard flower, and some clove tree. So you need a lot of materials, okay? And once you have all of these, you can finally craft that potion. And as I told you, this is very important to have that. So if I go back to manage workers here, no, I'm going to open that interface. It's going to be better. You can see that I have that worker that is producing some squash and some rock mushroom at once. So this is very helpful for that. I have this one that is producing some clove tree, and this dragon pepper is interesting for the production, for the trading. This one is giving to me some wood mushroom and cilantro, so it's helping a lot. This one is giving to me some raspberries, and that material, the golden cup, is used for the trading. This one is giving to me some fennel and some cornelian cherry. This one is not for the potions, but for the trading only. This one is giving to me some rock mushroom, jelly flower, and this one can be used for some potions to increase your crit rate and crit damage for 10 seconds. This one more time, I have some clove tree, I have some golden cup and poison keys. This one is giving to me some wormwood for the trading and the cotton grass here for the potion. This one, some fennel and the king's copper for the trading only. I have some more honey here with some devil's ear mushroom. I got some more of these. That is used in the trading as well. So this is why I have multiple ones producing some, alright? I have that worker, but I might want to change this one because I don't need the materials here. I will think about it. More honey, more chickpea for the potions, and these for the trading, but this is not very necessary, and this one is not that great neither. Cotton grass and clove tree, wait, I use them for the potions, so this one is good, but I can change a few workers here. I'm working on that. Alright, so now it's time to talk about the trading, okay? So when I go here, you have 21 routes in total, in fact. And all the routes will have different propositions. And this is why I decided to make that sheet here. So let me open that so you know everything in detail. I'm going to push myself to the right again. So let's see that in detail. That file is available on my Discord, by the way. And if you want to access the Discord, you have the link in the description of all my videos, alright? So on the first page, you have a better view of everything in detail. So you have basically all the different routes. The first one being backwater, you have 5 different tradings. You have the material you need to trade and the rewards you have at the end, and the quantity and the price per unit and the total cost here, the time it takes. And basically, this is very important to have that file because you know exactly, you can identify everything in detail. What is the best route to get some copper? What is the best route to get the materials you need to craft, or the potions and stuff like that, alright? So basically, you will find all the different routes, and this is important as well because you can basically use a trading in one route and use a trading in another route at the same time. So this is very important. You can check that file. You will have all the details inside, and this is very important to have that. So basically, if I open this one, this is the most important page. You have some filters. So if my goal is to have some copper, basically I open that. I unselect everything and I select only the 12,000 copper, so I can identify directly what are the best routes to get some copper at the end. And so basically what I am doing here to find the best workers, for example, I'm taking the animal oil, I can produce the gold dust one time to get a lot of copper at the end, so I'm taking the animal oil, alright? So then I go back in game on the production list here, and I'm trying to find the workers I have for the animal oil, and I find this one producing as well some raw meat and some sheepskin, alright? And I can see if I open that file again, that with the sheepskins, I also have the porcelain doll that I can trade to get some more copper as well. So this is by far the best worker to produce some copper at the end, alright? And I can also produce some raw meat, so let's just basically close that. Select everything again. I'm gonna select here, unselect everything. I said animal oil, I want some raw meat. I got the raw meat here, and I want the sheepskins, alright? So I can find all the trading routes using these 3 materials. So by producing with only one worker, I will be able to exchange for all these things here. So inside you have some iron ore if you want some production, some crafting materials. You have some tier 2 fragments, you have the gold dust. You can exchange for some blue roses, and the blue roses you can exchange them for other materials in the trading. You have some candlesticks, so you can have some extra copper here. You have the 12,001, you have the stockfish for 4,500 copper at the end. So basically just with that worker, you can see that you can get a lot of things at the end, alright? Very interesting for the copper. This is the best worker in the game. So let me select again the 12,000 here. I'm gonna select everything here again. You have the feathers, you have the brown coal, you have the blue roses. So one more time, by producing with that worker only, you can produce some blue roses, and with the blue roses, you can get some gold dust here. So that is very interesting here one more time. So if I go back in game here, you can find that worker that is interesting as well. I have 2 of them, by the way. and it is producing some animal oil and some bird meat. So one more time, I'm going into my sheet, and we are gonna check what I can produce with that. So let's select everything here again. Let's open that. I want to unselect everything. I want the animal oil and the bird meat here. So with these two materials, I can trade for that for the 12,000 copper, and I can exchange the bird meat in another route for an extra 4,500 copper. You have the same here with the animal oil. You have the same for the bird meat here, another one with 6,000 copper at the end. So basically, when you're checking the file here, you can identify quickly what is the best route to get some copper, and the bird meat, the animal oil, or the other workers are the best for the copper. Now, let's say that you want some crafting material to craft some gear because you are lacking some iron ore. So basically, let me just check that here, and you know exactly everything you can exchange to get some iron ore, and you get a lot at the end, all right? So you can exchange the raspberries, the flax, the wood mushroom, and it is great because the raspberries, you can use them as well to craft some potions, as I showed you before, and the wood mushroom as well. So just by taking these, the workers producing that, you can have a lot of crafting materials as well. You can produce some tier 5 fragments as well for the crafting. You have in a quarry, you can exchange some beeswax for some tier 5 fragments for your gears, so it is very interesting too. You have some wax as well in rose water. You can exchange some mustard flower in exchange of some wax, green wax, so it can help for upgrading your artifacts, so why not? And very interesting too, this is the only way to acquire some for free in the game outside of the exchange shop with the regional currencies. Basic reinforcement tool here for your artifacts. You need to trade for some whale oil, and basically if you want to acquire some, we are going to check how to achieve that here. You have 4 routes at the moment. You can exchange some jelly flower, iron ore, brown coal, or leather here. To get, you're not getting a lot, by the way, you need a crazy amount of materials, but you know about it now. Alright everyone, that was all I had to say about that guide here. Of course it's gonna cost some copper, but it doesn't cost a lot in comparison with all the copper you are getting through the trading. So it is very interesting. You have many ways in game to get some copper, and the copper is very important for 2 main things. You have the artifact. This is the best way to get some passive stats on your character. You need to upgrade absolutely every single blue ones if you want to get some more stats. Check the ones that are giving some more attack power first, so you will have a more attack power at the end, because when you click here, you have the full restoration rate, and it's giving to you all of these stats. So the more you have, the better. Because let me show you the stats I have on my character. If you see some people with a crazy amount of attack power, this is because probably they increased by a lot their restoration rates on the artifact. This is the best way to acquire some passive stats here. Alright, so this is more like an endgame feature, but getting some copper through all the ways you have in game is very interesting because it requires a lot to upgrade your artifact, your set research, and your house sigils. Alright guys, so that was all I had to say in that video. Take care, have a really nice day, bye bye.